Time to put the boom in the bass. Hey guys, if you enjoy watching the guitar building videos that I post up here on my YouTube channel, I'd appreciate it if you might consider supporting my channel by visiting my YouTube merch store. Down below the description for this video, you'll see my merch shelf. And on that shelf, I've got t-shirts, plans for building guitars, and plans for making the tools that we use to build guitars. And if you can't see that merch shelf, don't worry, there's a link in the description as well. So just know that any purchase you make is going to help support this channel, plus you're getting something in return. Now, if you would like to support the channel, but don't want to spend any money, that's okay too. Just be sure to click the thumbs up button. That'll tell YouTube to promote my videos. Now let's get on with today's video. In today's episode, I'm going to be making the pickup for my 4-string bass guitar build. And if you've been following this series, you're probably aware that the pickup I'll be installing in this guitar is your typical precision bass humbucker pickup. Now to make the pickup, the easiest way to do it is to purchase a kit. And there are kits out there from a variety of different sources. I typically purchase my kits from CE Distribution. And they sell a number of different style pickup kits that include most everything you need to make the pickup except for the coil wire. You usually have to purchase that separately because there's so many different kinds of wire that you can use. So that's something that's separate. When I went to place my order with CE Distribution for a precision bass humbucker kit, as it turns out, they were out of stock at the time. And that occasionally will happen, especially these days with the global supply chain issues that we tend to face. So I decided, rather than wait around until they had kits in stock, I would search for another source. And I found a company called Tonecraft. So I thought, let's place an order with them and see what I get, and then maybe I'll have more than just one source for my pickup components. So I placed the order, and they told me it would take about 2 weeks to fill the order because I believe each order is made to order. In other words, the bobbins are all fabricated to order. Well, as I was waiting for that order to come in, the pickup kits were suddenly available from CE Distribution. So I ended up ordering kits from both, and they both came in within a few days of each other. So I could compare them. And really, they're pretty similar in quality. In fact, I really couldn't tell that much difference between the two. They're both excellent quality kits. And what they both came with are the bobbins, the hookup wire, the covers. And in the case of the Tonecraft, they did add one extra item, and that is the installation screws, which is kind of nice to have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Tonecraft kit to make this pickup. And the bobbins are your typical fiber bobbin with Alnico 5 slugs already pressed into place, as well as the eyelets have been installed, which is nice. And the one of the bobbins, the Alnico 5 magnets, have been installed so that the south pole is facing up. With the other, it's the north pole facing up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind the south pole up bobbin clockwise, and then the north pole up I'm going to wind counterclockwise, so that with the two together I will have a reverse wind, reverse polarity orientation, which is going to make the humbucker hum canceling. For the magnet wire, I'm going to be using 42 gauge. This is a single build insulation polynylon solderable wire. And I really like to use this stuff because it's so easy to use. You don't have to scrape off the insulation at the ends or sand it off. All you do is touch it with a hot soldering iron and it'll melt back. So very easy to use. And I purchased this. This is from Remington Industries and I get it from eBay. It's affordable and they usually ship it to me really quickly. So that's what I'll be using for the coil wire. And of course I'll be winding it using the CNC winder that I've been talking about in previous videos. I know a lot of you are anxiously awaiting the assembly manual for this winder, but hopefully I'll have that done sometime in the summer of 2022, which means a couple months from now. We'll see. I'm still doing some testing and I'm still making some decisions about how I'm going to release this manual and the associated software. I'm not going to give a step-by-step tutorial about how this CNC winder works, but I will bring you in closer and let you kind of follow along and you'll get an idea of what's involved. To begin the winding process, the first thing I have to do is launch my eGuitar Plans CNC winder software. And this is a program that I created in Python. And it's designed to create the G-code file that will control the winder. And for it to work, what I have to do is input the dimensions of the bobbin's core. So the height, the width of the bobbin core, and the length. And from there, I can decide how many turns of wire I want to put on the bobbin. In this case, with this pickup, I'm going to be putting 9,000 turns of 42 gauge wire on each bobbin. So that's the number that I input into the software. Then I tell the software how fast I want the winder to spin, which in this case is going to be about 1200 RPM. Another nice feature with this software is I have the ability to decide whether to wind the bobbin clockwise or counterclockwise. I can also choose different scatter winding patterns from no scatter all the way out to maximum scatter. And each one of these different patterns is going to yield a different tonal response. The first thing I have to do is thread that fine 42 gauge wire through the eyelet on the back of the bobbin. And usually what I'll do is I'll loop it through a few times and then just tie it off with a simple granny knot. Then I'll take the bobbin and attach it to the winder and I'll hold it in place using a precision lathe live center. Next, I have to align the traversing mechanism so that the wire will feed correctly onto the bobbin. From there, it's just a matter of sending the G-code file to the winder and let the machine do its thing. The G-code will control the RPM of the winder as well as the auto-traversing mechanism that you see moving back and forth as it guides the wire onto the bobbin. The device you see here is a magnetic wire tensioner, and it precisely controls the amount of tension that's applied to the bobbin as it's spinning on the winder. Once the winder has reached the programmed number of turns, it automatically shuts off. And then what I can do is tape off where the finish of the wire comes off the bobbin so that it doesn't unravel when I remove the bobbin. Then I'll cut the wire at the tensioner and I'll proceed with removing the bobbin from the winder. And of course I have to thread that finished part of the wire through the eyelet on the bobbin, and I'll do it just like I did the start. Loop it through a few times and then I'll tie it off with a granny knot. Then it's just a matter of soldering the hookup wires to the back of the bobbins through those eyelets. Now I can hook up my LCR meter and I can do a quick check of the DC resistance, which is about 8,000 ohms. And then I'll switch it over to check the inductance, which in this case is 3.68 henries. And then just for grins, I can hook up my Gauss meter and check the strength of the magnets, which in this case looks to be about 775 Gauss to 800 Gauss. All right, guys, well, the bass has its boom, or at least it will once I've installed the pickups into the body. And I'm hoping to get to that next week, as well as I intend to wire up the pickguard and do the initial assembly of the entire guitar. And hopefully I can get all through that in the next episode, which is going to be part 18. So be sure to check that out. In the meantime, I hope you found this video to be entertaining. If so, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Visit my merch shelf down below, purchase t-shirts, guitar plans for the tools that we use to build guitars. And if not, at the very least, you can click the thumbs up button. You can even click the thanks button and leave me a little tip. And just know that any contribution financially is turned right around and invested back into this channel in the form of better equipment for shooting video, lighting, audio, as well as all the parts and materials that I purchase and review on this channel. So until the next episode, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.